ओ मणिपद में हूँ। ओ मणिपद में हूँ। मणिपद में हूँ।
Welcome to another episode of the From the Pure Land podcast. I'm Mel Pine. The title of this one is Channeling Thich Nhat Hanh for Today. No, he didn't come to me in a vision. His teachings are filtered through my imperfect mind. I wrote this post before I learned that more than 7,600 people, most of them members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, had donated more than $300,000 for the family of Thomas Jacob Sanford, the man who murdered 4 members of their church in a shooting attack at a Michigan chapel. In response, journalist Kelsey Piper wrote, "If America is going to make it, it will be because people choose forgiving things they should never have had to forgive over hurting people they have every right to be angry with." On November 12, 2014, Plum Village in France made this announcement. With a deep, mindful breath, we announced to the world the news that yesterday, the 11th of November 2014, Thay, Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, experienced a severe brain hemorrhage. Thay is receiving 24-hour intensive care from specialist doctors, nurses, and from his monastic disciples. If Buddhism had patron bodhisattvas the way Christianity has patron saints, Thay would be the patron bodhisattva of voicing Buddhism for modern life. But his body never regained the ability to speak and write, and it died on January 22, 2022. He was 95. The enduring messages he left us with are: mindfulness, living fully in each moment. Interbeing. We don't exist alone, but in the vast interconnected web. I am in you, you are in me. Deep listening, hearing each other in mindful and loving non-judgment. Engaged Buddhism. You cannot practice Buddhism while ignoring the suffering around you, and you cannot create lasting social change without first cultivating peace and understanding within yourself. Note: what follows emanates primarily from my impure mind, not from any dream or vision. It's my attempt to present what Thay might be teaching us today. Consider none of it as coming from Thich Nhat Hanh. Looking deeply to transform anger, violence, and hate. My dear friends, when we look at our world today, at the violence, the hatred, the terrible suffering of war and genocide, it is natural to feel overwhelmed. We may feel anger rising in us. We may feel despair. We may want to turn away because the pain is too great. But I invite you to stay present with me, to breathe, and to look deeply together. Breathing in, I know that suffering is here. Breathing out, I hold this suffering with tenderness. The wars we see, the genocide, the bitter polarization that tears families and communities apart, these are not separate from us. We may think the problem is over there, with those people, those politicians, those extremists. But when we practice looking deeply, we see that the seeds of violence, fear, and misunderstanding exist in every one of us. The question is not whether we have these seeds, but whether we water them or transform them. The practice of interbeing. The word being is not accurate. We can only interbe. We cannot exist independently. We inter-are with everything and everyone. The violence we see in the world is made of the same elements as the violence we carry in our own hearts, our impatience, our judgments, our inability to listen. When we hate those who commit violence, we water our seeds of hate. When we divide the world into good people and bad people, we create the very conditions for more suffering. We don't accept injustice. We refuse to be passive in the face of cruelty. But we understand that true transformation must begin with ourselves. If we are full of anger and righteousness, even our efforts for peace will carry the seeds of war. I have seen terrible violence in my lifetime. I have seen my native land torn apart. I have held the bodies of children killed in war. I have wept over the boat people refugees victimized by pirates. I know that this suffering is real, but I have also learned that meeting violence with violence, hatred with hatred, only continues the cycle. The practice of deep listening. When people are polarized, they have stopped listening to each other. Each side is so sure they are right and the other is wrong that communication becomes impossible. We shout at each other. We demonize each other. We see only the worst in those who disagree with us. The practice of deep listening is a practice of love. We listen not to judge, not to argue, but to understand. We listen with the willingness to be changed, or at least touched, by what we hear. This is very difficult when the other person says things that make us angry, things that seem cruel or unjust. But if we can breathe and remain present, if we can remember that this person also suffers, also fears, also wants to be happy, then we create a small space for transformation. You need not abandon your values or accept injustice, but you should learn to recognize the humanity in every person, even those whose actions or beliefs disturb you deeply. When we can do this, when we can hold our truth and their humanity together, we become capable of real dialogue, and from real dialogue comes the possibility of change. Transforming our collective karma. Genocide and war are manifestations of our collective consciousness. They arise from generations of misunderstanding, fear, dehumanization, and trauma passed down like an inheritance. Stopping them begins with transforming our own consciousness. Each time you breathe mindfully in a moment of anger, you change the world. Each time you listen deeply to someone you disagree with, you plant seeds of peace. Each time you recognize your own capacity for hatred and choose compassion instead, you weaken the roots of violence everywhere. This may seem small in the face of such enormous suffering, but think of a pebble dropped in a pond. The ripples spread outward, touching everything. Your peace, your understanding, your compassion, these ripples spread farther than you know. What we can do today. Begin with your breathing. When you see news of violence and feel yourself contracting with fear or hardening with anger, stop. Breathe in and out 3 times, aware of your breath. This simple act keeps you from being swept away by the storm of emotions. It allows you to remain grounded and clear. Practice loving speech and deep listening in your own life. With your family, your neighbors, those who think differently than you do. Do not wait for the perfect moment or the perfect words. Simply begin. When you feel the urge to condemn or argue, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what does this person fear? What pain might lie beneath their anger? Take mindful action. We must respond to injustice, but we can do that without hatred in our hearts. We can work to stop harm while remembering the humanity of all involved. We can protest, we can organize, we can speak truth to power, and we can do it from a place of love rather than rage. Finally, build community. We cannot do this work alone. Find others who want to practice peace, who want to transform violence in themselves and in the world. Support each other. Remind each other when you forget. Celebrate small victories. A beloved community is both the path and the destination. Peace is every step. My dear friends, the crises we face are real and urgent, but despair will not help. Hatred will not help. What will help is our willingness to awaken, to take responsibility for our own hearts and minds, to practice peace in each moment. Peace is not something we find after all the problems are solved. Peace is available to us right now, in this breath, in this step. And from this peace, watered with our mindfulness and compassion, right action becomes possible. The bell of mindfulness is calling us. Will you answer? This is Mel Pine again. My next book, A Buddhist Path to Joy, the New Middle Way Expanded Edition, goes on sale October 17th. Until that date, you can pre-order the ebook version for only $2.99 from most online ebook retailers. Now the bell of mindfulness.